Yes, that's exactly what my Nani ji said 3 years ago on a random day while singing a bhajan, and it was true. And just like that fateful day, my mother did not actually want to go to the school. Maybe she had an intuition or something. Like the same intuition, I did not want to go to the office today. And here I am at 10:30 p.m. back from office recording this video at 11 p.m. Couldn't even talk to my mother. But the blessing she left behind for my Nani ji 3 years later. 3 years ago today, on a Saturday morning in 2023, I lost my Nani ji. It was an ordinary morning, no office that day. I had dropped Ma to school, and after breakfast, my sister and I went to sit with Nani. Actually, we did not have breakfast. The breakfast was only for Nani ji, and we would have later at 11ish. So she asked us for a bath. We helped her. We washed her hair, shampooed it, conditioned it, and made her squeaky clean. She was so happy. I remember thinking how beautiful she looked. She was just old in numbers, but never old in heart. Her knees hurt. She could barely walk without help, but she still laughed her out, sang beautiful bhajans, danced with her hands on birthdays or other celebrations, and found happiness in smallest of things. And then, while we were taking her back to the bed, she suddenly gave a small scream and collapsed. Just like that. A week earlier, we had done her complete health checkup. Everything was fine on paper. No diabetes, no major illnesses except joint pains. I checked her pulse, I tried CPR. My sister and I ran for doctors because clearly there was no pulse, no heartbeat. Within minutes, we brought them back with us. But nothing could bring you back, Nani ji. I remember driving to tell Mama. Actually, my neighbor drove because I couldn't even reverse the car. I was literally in tears. And after that, everything became a blur, honestly. I just remember a lot of crying, a lot of howling, a lot of numbness. But Nani ji, you never ever became a blur in my memories. Because Nani, you were my childhood. When I think of you, I think of winter mornings, you waking up early, cooking for everyone, feeding everyone, and then coming to our house because Ma had gone to work. It used to be our winter vacations. My sister and I were 3 and 7, and you were there. You fed us, played with us, told us stories, made sure we actually eat. And you would go back, bathe, cook again for lunch for your entire family, watch your serial, and then come back to our home when Ma returned to work. Ma returned from work. And you and Ma would sit and talk for hours at a stretch. That was my childhood. You were one of the safest places I knew. And I still remember your hair, that beautiful long, thick hair with that paranda, of course. Nani, I genuinely believe this hair I have today is one of your gifts to me. Even in your late 70s, you barely had a speck of white hair. Your hair stayed back for so long, even when finally began graying, it happened so slowly, so steadily, maybe in the late 70s. I remember you wearing a paranda before Nanaji died and tying your hair in a long classic braid. Later, you would simply make a choti, apply coconut oil because you never went a day without it. And somehow, every time I look at my own hair, I see a little bit of you. Then Nanu died when I was in class 4 and life changed. I was too young to understand it then, but I understand it now. I remember hearing, Nani ka ghar to tab tak hota hai, jab tak Nana hote hain. As though a woman's home could disappear with her husband. You had 4 children. You lost one of your daughters before Nanaji died. And for years, there were walls between you and us that the child could never understand. You had been raised in that same patriarchal kind of world, a world where women were taught to adjust, to sacrifice, to stay, and to put everyone else before themselves. And you did the same. You were kind to everyone. You believed in Atiti Devo Bhava. You trusted people. Perhaps sometimes you trusted them more than they deserved. Then your knees became worse. You had a surgery, you needed physiotherapy, care, companionship. Instead, you became increasingly confined, dependent, increasingly alone. And that is what hurts me the most. Not that you became old, but a woman who had spent her entire life caring for everyone had to reach to a point where she herself needed someone to care. A woman could have wealth, land, a beautiful house, everything society calls security, and still be desperately lonely if she is not cared for. And then you chose. You asked to come to Mama's house, our house, and when you came, you never went back. You came with a few clothes, maybe a couple of them, that's it. You left behind all the property, wealth, expectations, and everything people said you were supposed to hold on to. And when they asked you to return, you refused, blatantly refused. You said you wouldn't go back to that jail. And I think that was the bravest thing you ever did in your life. Because after spending almost your entire life being told where you belonged, whom you belonged to, you finally decided for yourself. You chose love. You chose dignity. You chose the people who loved you. And perhaps more importantly, you chose yourself. Then we began giving you back the things life had slowly taken away from you. We got your ears cleaned, and you could hear again. Yay! We treated your cataract, and you could see again. So it was actually treatable. We cared for you, and slowly you started smiling again. You sang, you danced with your hands, you laughed, you celebrated all the birthdays and anniversaries. And one day I asked you, Nani, when is your birthday? You said you did not know and had broke my heart literally. So I chose one when you made a cake, 19th June. And every year we celebrated with you. A day that wasn't about being someone's wife, mother, grandmother. It was simply about you. And then I watched a woman who had spent her entire life giving finally learn how to receive love, care, celebration, and happiness. And maybe that was your full circle moment. You were born into patriarchy. You lived most of your life inside its rules, but you did not die inside them. In your late 70s, you broke free, not with anger, not with hatred, just with one simple decision. I will stay where I'm loved. And that became your revolution. My father loved you so much. He cared for you as though you were his own mother. And that's why when I got married, your name was the first one on my wedding card. You weren't physically there, but you had to be there because some people aren't guests as or milestones. They're the reasons those milestones mean something. And perhaps the greatest blessing you and Nanaji left me is something I can hold on to till this date. It is the life I have today. Among the millions, perhaps the billions of people on this planet, I somehow found someone who takes care of me the way you took care of me. Someone who makes sure I eat, someone who stands beside me, someone who makes me feel so safe and so loved and so wanted. And sometimes I wonder, maybe this is your blessing. Maybe all the love you poured into me as a child had nowhere to go. So it traveled through time and found me again, in a person, in another home, in another chapter. And maybe that is the greatest gifts my grandparents, my Nanu Nani ever gave me. So today, 3 years after you left me, I don't want you to remember only by the morning you died. I want you to be remembered for your beautiful life, the woman who woke up before everyone, the woman who fed, the woman with the beautiful braid and coconut hair oil, the woman who offered me Mary biscuits from the tabletop, the woman who sang so many beautiful bhajans that everyone in every society knows it, the woman who did not know her birthday until I gave her one, the woman who went from barely smiling to smiling again, the woman who spent a lifetime being told where she belonged and finally chose her own home. You came to us, you loved us, you showed us your kindness, your love, your courage, and perhaps a little bit of your beautiful hair too. 3 years without you, and I still look for you in smallest things. A bhajan, a smell, a braid, a coconut oil, a birthday. In a way, someone cares for me, and when I feel blessed, I think of you and Nanaji, because maybe some blessings are not accident. Maybe some people leave the world, but their love stays behind. So wherever you are, Naniji, I hope you're happy. I hope your knees don't hurt anymore. I hope you can see everything. I hope you can hear everything. I hope you know your birthday now. And I hope you are the little girl you raised never to forget you. You were my childhood. You were my home. You were the first name on my wedding card. And you are still the one of the greatest loves of my life. You taught me home is not where society tells you to belong. Home is where you are actually loved. And Naniji, after a lifetime of being told where you belong, to whom you belong, I will never forget you choosing us over everyone. I will spend the rest of my life being grateful that you did. You actually did. You gave us a closure. I love you, Naniji. Thank you for loving me first. Thank you for choosing us first. And thank you for the blessing that your love continues to be until we meet again. Love you. Love you, Nani.